In the quiet village of Umeus, nestled between tall palm trees and winding footpaths, lived a beautiful woman named Amoka. At just 23, she had already seen more sorrow than most elders in the land. Amoka had once been the pride of the village, her beauty unmatched, her smile gentle, her heart pure. She married young to Chokudi, a handsome farmer. Their love was sweet, and in no time, children began to fill their home with laughter. But the laughter never lasted. One by one, her children died mysteriously. First it was a baby girl, then a boy, then another, until 4 out of 5 had passed away in painful, unexplained deaths. People began to whisper, "This woman is cursed. She is a witch, eating her own children." The whispers turned into accusations. Her husband, Chokudi, broken and confused, gave in to the pressure. He abandoned her and married another woman. Her last surviving child, Oninai, had the villagers and believed the lies. She, too, left her mother. Amoka was alone. Chased from her home, she built a small hut at the outskirts of the village. There, she lived in silence, cooking, cutting wood, fetching water from the stream, surviving without help, love, or hope. Years passed. Then came a young nurse named Grace, posted to Umeus for her national youth service. She noticed the lonely woman in the bush hut, never speaking to anyone, always alone. One evening, after helping Amoka fetch water, Grace finally asked, "Mama, why are you always alone at this old age? Don't you have a husband or children?" Amoka looked at her for a long time. Then, with tears that had been bottled for years, she told her story. How her children died. How the villagers called her a witch. How even her husband and daughter left her. Grace listened carefully. When Amoka finished, the nurse took a deep breath and asked, "Mama, did you and your husband do a genotype test before marriage?" Amoka blinked in confusion. Genotype. I don't even know what that means. Grace explained gently. It's a test to know if two people are compatible to have children. From everything you've told me, it sounds like your children died of something called sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell. Amoka whispered. What is that? Grace explained how when two people with the AS genotype marry, their children have a high chance of being SS, the genotype that causes sickle cell disease. It is a condition that leads to great pain, weakness, and often early death. Amoka looked stunned. So, it wasn't my fault. Grace shook her head. No, Mama. You were never a witch. You were a victim of ignorance. With Amoka's permission, Nurse Grace took her blood for genotype testing. She also tracked down Chokudi and did the same for him. The results were clear. Both Amoka and Chokudi were as. That was the reason for the tragedy. Nurse Grace, determined to set things right, called a village meeting. With wisdom and patience, she educated the villagers on genotype and sickle cell disease. She showed them the test results. She told them that Amoka was innocent, not a witch, but a mother who had unknowingly suffered for years due to a lack of medical knowledge. The village was stunned. One by one, people began to weep. Oninai, now a grown woman, came before her mother and fell to her knees. Mama, forgive me. I believed them. I left you alone when you needed me most. Please, forgive me. Chukwudi came forward, shame written all over his face. Amaka. I failed you. I let the world turn me against the woman who gave me love. Forgive me. Tears flowed freely as Amaka embraced her daughter and husband. The villagers bowed before her and apologized. Songs were sung. Drums were played. Amaka was welcomed back home, not as the witch they once feared, but as a mother, a woman of strength, and a symbol of endurance and grace. From that day forward, Nurse Grace began regular health education in Umu's. No couple was allowed to marry without genotype testing. No mother would ever be accused again without reason. And Amaka. She walked back into her home, head high, heart full. No longer alone. No longer forgotten. But honored, cherished, and finally, understood.